Welcome to today's video, where we take an in-depth look at one of the most talked about coins in the Lincoln Wheat Penny series, the 1944 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark. If you've ever come across a 1944 penny in your change, in an inherited coin collection, or at a flea market, you may have asked yourself, what does it mean when there's no mint mark? What is this coin worth today, and why are collectors so fascinated by it? Over the next few minutes, we'll explore the full story of the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark, including its history, composition, design, values in different grades, and the incredibly rare error varieties that can turn a humble cent into a six-figure treasure. The 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. At the time, Philadelphia did not use a mint mark, so if your 1944 penny simply shows the date with no letter beneath it, it came from Philadelphia. In 1944, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 1 billion of these coins, making it one of the highest mintage wheat pennies of all time. Because so many were made, most examples in circulated condition are common and affordable. But the story of this coin goes far beyond mintage numbers. Its historical context, its tie to World War II, and its fascinating error varieties make it one of the most intriguing pennies ever made. To understand the importance of the 1944 no mint mark wheat penny, we need to look back at 1943. That year, the U.S. Mint changed the composition of the penny from copper to zinc-coated steel. The reason was simple. Copper was essential for World War II ammunition, and every ounce counted. These 1943 steel cents served their purpose but caused problems. They rusted, they were mistaken for dimes, and the public didn't like them. By 1944, the mint switched back to a bronze alloy, but with a twist. Instead of using newly mined copper, they recycled spent shell casings collected from military training grounds. That means your 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark could literally contain metal from World War II battlefields. Because of this, the 1944 penny is often called a shell case cent. This historical connection gives the coin a special place in numismatics. Let's talk about design. On the obverse, or front, of the coin is the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 and designed by Victor David Brenner. To the right is the date, 1944, and since this is the Philadelphia issue, no mint mark appears beneath it. On the reverse, we see two wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America, with the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, at the top. This reverse design gave the coin its nickname, the wheat penny, and it remained in place until 1958, when it was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design. Now, what about value? In circulated grades, the 1944 no mint mark wheat penny is usually worth between 3 cents and 10 cents. Coins in extremely fine condition can be worth around 50 cents to $1. Uncirculated examples start at $2 to $5, and prices rise with quality. At mint state 65, a red example typically sells for $20 to $40. At mint state 66, values often range from $75 to $150. The real stars are mint state 67 red coins, which are rare and can bring several $100s, sometimes even over $1,000. At the very top end, the best preserved 1944 no mint mark wheat pennies have sold at auction for more than $5,000. Condition makes all the difference, and collectors pay big premiums for coins with strong color, sharp detail, and minimal marks. But the excitement doesn't stop there. The 1944 no mint mark wheat penny also has some of the most famous error varieties in U.S. coinage. The most valuable is the 1944 steel cent error. Remember how pennies were made of zinc-coated steel in 1943? A small number of leftover steel planchets were accidentally struck in 1944 at all three mints, including Philadelphia. If you have a 1944 no mint mark penny that sticks to a magnet, you may have found one of these legendary rarities. The 1944 steel cent from Philadelphia is one of the most valuable Lincoln cents in existence, worth $30,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on grade. Even worn examples sell for thousands. Aside from the steel errors, collectors also look for doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks. Each of these errors adds character and value to the coin, making the hunt for 1944 errors a favorite challenge among collectors. The historical context of this coin adds to its appeal. These pennies represent the transition from the one-year experiment of steel cents back to a bronze alloy. They symbolize America's resourcefulness, recycling spent war materials to keep coin production going. Holding a 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark is like holding a tiny piece of wartime history, an everyday object that tells the story of sacrifice and resilience during World War II. For collectors, the 1944 no mint mark wheat penny is essential in completing a wheat cent collection. Because of its high mintage, most people can afford circulated examples, making it a great entry point for beginners. Meanwhile, advanced collectors chase top-graded red gems and rare error varieties, which makes this coin exciting at every level of the hobby. The wide range of values, from a few cents all the way into the hundreds of thousands, shows just how versatile and collectible this coin truly is. From an investment standpoint, the 1944 no mint mark wheat penny offers both accessibility and potential. Common circulated examples are affordable and easy to find, while mint state red coins and rare errors can appreciate significantly over time. The steel cent errors, in particular, are among the most famous rarities in American coinage, and they continue to break auction records. Whether you're collecting for fun, history, or investment, the 1944 penny offers something for everyone. To sum up, the 1944 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark is a coin that blends common availability with extraordinary potential. In most cases, it's worth just a few cents, but in pristine condition or as a steel error, it can be worth thousands or even six figures. Its origin as a shell case cent ties it directly to World War II, giving it a unique historical significance that collectors love. With its classic design, fascinating story, and wide value range, the 1944 no mint mark wheat penny remains one of the most beloved coins in American numismatics. So next time you come across a 1944 penny in your change, take a closer look. You could be holding a small but powerful piece of history, and in rare cases, a truly valuable treasure. The 1945 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark. If you're new to coin collecting or just curious about the value of that old wheat penny you found in your drawer, this video is going to give you everything you need to know. We'll cover the history of the 1945 penny, why it was made, what makes it unique, the design details, its value in different conditions, the role of errors and varieties, and why collectors still search for this coin today. Make sure to watch until the very end, because the information you hear could help you turn an ordinary penny into an amazing discovery. Let's begin with the basics. The 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike coins from Denver or San Francisco, coins from Philadelphia during this period did not carry a mint mark. If you look closely at your 1945 penny and see no letter under the date, then you have a Philadelphia issue. Over 1 billion of these pennies were minted, making it one of the most common wheat pennies of the series. But even though it was common, collectors are still fascinated by this coin because of its place in history and the potential value it can bring depending on condition and rarity. Now, the design is a classic. On the obverse, we have Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln, introduced in 1909. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and the Lincoln cent has continued for well over a century. On the reverse, you'll see two wheat stalks encircling the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the motto E pluribus unum at the top. This wheat design ran from 1909 to 1958, making it one of the most beloved coinage designs in America. Collectors often refer to these as wheat pennies or wheat cents, and the 1945 no mint mark is a prime example. The year 1945 is especially significant. The United States was just emerging from World War II, and coinage production was incredibly important for a growing post-war economy. During the war years, metals were in high demand for weapons and supplies, so the mint experimented with different compositions like the famous 1943 steel penny. By 1945, however, pennies were again being struck from their usual bronze alloy, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Each 1945 penny carries that legacy of American resilience and change, making it more than just a coin. It's a piece of history. So, how much is a 1945 no mint mark wheat penny worth? The answer depends on condition. In heavily circulated grades, most 1945 pennies are worth around 3 to 5 cents. These are coins that have been in pockets, purses, and cash registers for decades, showing lots of wear. In better condition, say, fine to extremely fine, you might see values in the 15 to 50 cent range. When you reach about uncirculated grades, values rise to around $1. But the real jump comes in uncirculated condition. A mint state example, graded MS 63 or MS 64, can fetch $2 to $15. Coins that are bright red in color, meaning they still have their original copper luster, can bring $25 to $50 or more in MS 65. At the very highest levels, like MS 67 red, auction results have shown prices reaching into the hundreds of dollars. But the story doesn't stop there. Errors and varieties are a huge part of what makes the 1945 wheat penny exciting. Error coins can be dramatically more valuable than regular strikes. Some of the most popular include double-die obverse pennies, where the date or lettering like Liberty or I in God We Trust shows doubling. Depending on clarity and grade, these can sell for $20 to several $100s. Other errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the planchet was misaligned. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable it becomes, sometimes hundreds of dollars. Die cracks, cuds, and clipped planchets are also collectible errors that can transform a penny from pocket change into a prized piece. Collectors often wonder why some 1945 pennies are brown, some red-brown, and some bright red. This is due to how copper ages over time. When freshly struck, pennies have a rich red color. Over decades, exposure to air turns them brown. Collectors grade them as brown, BN, red-brown, RB, and red, RD. Red coins are the most desirable because they retain their original mint appearance. And that's why a red 1945 wheat penny in high grade can sell for dramatically more than the same coin in brown. This detail alone can be the difference between a $5 coin and a $200 coin. Another important tip: never clean your 1945 wheat penny. Cleaning might make it shiny, but it destroys the coin's natural surfaces and reduces value. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC prefer original, untouched coins. If you think you have a rare or high-grade example, it's best to store it safely in a protective holder and consider professional grading. Grading not only verifies authenticity, but also gives your coin a recognized value in the marketplace. Beyond values, the 1945 wheat penny tells us a lot about the era it came from. Imagine all the hands this coin may have passed through: soldiers returning from war, families celebrating peace, children buying candy in the 1940s. Each penny carries with it a story, and that's part of the magic of collecting. You're not just holding a coin, you're holding history. For new collectors, the 1945 no mint mark penny is a great starting point. It's affordable, easy to find in circulation or coin shops, but it also teaches you the importance of condition, errors, and history in determining value. For advanced collectors, the hunt for pristine red examples or rare double dies keeps this coin interesting. To wrap it up, the 1945 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark may not be a key date, but it remains an important collectible. In circulated condition, it's worth a few cents. In mint state condition, it can be worth dozens or even hundreds of dollars. Add in rare errors or bright red luster, and you could be looking at a true treasure. Whether you're collecting for fun, investment, or history, the 1945 wheat penny is a coin that belongs in every Lincoln cent collection. The 1951 1-cent wheat penny with the S mint mark. If you've ever found a 1951 penny with an S below the date, you might be wondering, what makes this coin special? Does it have value? And why is it an important collectible in American coin history? Over the next few minutes, we'll dive deep into the story of the 1951 S wheat penny, covering its history, mintage, design, value in different conditions, and the error varieties that make some examples far more valuable than others. The 1951 S wheat penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and the small S mint mark beneath the date tells us where it was made. The San Francisco Mint produced 136,010,000 pennies in 1951, a large number, but smaller compared to the Philadelphia and Denver outputs that same year. Because of this, the San Francisco issue is scarcer than its Philadelphia counterpart, though it's still considered a common date in the wheat penny series. To really appreciate this coin, we should understand its historical context. By 1951, the United States was in a period of post-World War II recovery, with growing prosperity and booming coin production. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909, was still circulating strongly, and the San Francisco Mint was still producing business strike cents, something it would stop doing after 1955 for many years. That makes the 1951's penny part of the final years when San Francisco was striking wheat pennies for everyday use, adding historical importance to this coin. The design of the 1951's wheat penny follows the classic style created by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, we see the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, facing right. Above his head are the words, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date, 1951, with the small s, mint mark right beneath it. On the reverse, the famous wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E Pluribus Unum at the top. This reverse design gave the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. Now let's discuss the values of the 1951's wheat penny. In circulated grades, most examples are common and affordable. A typical worn 1951's penny is worth between 5 and 25 cents. In higher circulated grades, such as extremely fine or about uncirculated, they can bring 50 cents to $1. In uncirculated condition, the values rise more sharply. A Mint State 63 red coin may sell for $3 to $5, while a Mint State 65 red coin can bring $15 to $40. At the very high end, Mint State 67 red coins are scarce and can be worth several $100s or even over $1,000 at auction. The finest known examples have sold for thousands, proving just how much condition matters with this coin. Color is another factor that strongly influences value. Copper coins like the 1951's wheat penny are graded not only by condition, but also by color designation: brown, red-brown, or red. Brown coins are the most common and least valuable. Red-brown coins are worth more, and full red coins command the highest premiums. Collectors prize blazing red examples, which are especially difficult to find in older wheat pennies due to natural toning over time. The real excitement for many collectors comes from era varieties, and the 1951's wheat penny has some highly collectible ones. The most well-known are repunched mint marks, or RPMs. These occur when the S mint mark was punched into the die more than once, leaving a shadowed or doubled appearance. RPM varieties from 1951's are popular and can be worth $10 to over $100, depending on the clarity of the repunch and the condition of the coin. Collectors actively search for these coins, and they're listed in many specialized numismatic references. In addition to RPMs, there are also double die obverse and reverse varieties, though they're less common. Other errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, clipped planchets, where a small portion of the coin's edge is cut off, lamination errors, where part of the coin's surface peels away, and die cracks. Each of these adds uniqueness to a coin, and dramatic examples can sell for hundreds of dollars or more. Error collecting is one of the most exciting parts of the wheat penny series, and 1951's coins provide plenty of opportunities. From a collector's standpoint, the 1951's wheat penny is important for several reasons. First, it's part of the later wheat series, making it essential for anyone trying to build a complete date and mint mark set. Second, it represents the last few years of San Francisco business strike wheat pennies, which makes it significant in U.S. mint history. And third, it's a coin that offers both affordability for beginners and challenge for advanced collectors. You can easily find circulated examples for pocket change prices, but hunting for a Mint State 67 red or a dramatic RPM variety is a pursuit that can take years. From an investment perspective, the 1951's wheat penny is also attractive. Common circulated coins won't grow much in value, but high-grade red examples and rare RPM varieties continue to perform strongly at auctions. Collectors are always looking for standout coins in older wheat series dates, and the 1951's fits that category. Coins in pristine condition or with unique mint mark varieties are the ones with the most potential for appreciation. In summary, the 1951 1-cent wheat penny with the S mint mark is a coin that blends history, collectability, and potential value. Most examples are common and worth just a few cents to a few dollars, but in high mint state grades, the value can jump into the hundreds or thousands. Error varieties, especially repunched mint marks, add even more excitement and value to the series. Its role as one of the last San Francisco business strike wheat pennies makes it historically important, and its wide range of affordability ensures that both beginner and advanced collectors can enjoy it. So the next time you come across a 1951 wheat penny with that small S mint mark under the date, take a closer look. It might just be a common coin, but it could also be a hidden gem, a rare high-grade red example, or a valuable RPM variety. Either way, you're holding a genuine piece of American history and a classic from the beloved wheat penny series. The 1952 1-cent wheat penny coin with the D mint mark struck at the Denver Mint. If you've ever come across a penny dated 1952 with a small D below the date, you might be wondering how much it's worth, what makes it collectible, and whether it could be a rare variety that sells for more than face value. For the next several minutes, we'll explore everything about the 1952 D wheat penny, its design, history, mintage, value in different conditions, error varieties, and its role in coin collecting today. The Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most iconic U.S. coins ever produced. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the coin remained in production with the wheat reverse until 1958. That means the 1952 D wheat penny came toward the later part of the wheat cent era. The design is the work of Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, or front, you see Abraham Lincoln's portrait facing right. Above him is the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left is "Liberty," and to the right is the date, 1952. Just beneath the date is the D mint mark, identifying the Denver Mint as the place of production. On the reverse, we see two stylized wheat stalks that frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum across the top. This design is why the coin is popularly called the wheat penny. Now, let's talk about mintage. In 1952, the Denver Mint struck an enormous 746,130,000 wheat pennies. With nearly 3/4 billion coins minted, this issue is not rare in lower circulated grades. You can still find 1952 D pennies in old change jars, coin rolls, and inherited collections. However, as with most coins, condition makes all the difference, and truly high-grade examples are much scarcer than their massive mintage would suggest. When it comes to values, circulated 1952 D wheat pennies are generally worth 5 to 20 cents, depending on where. Coins in higher circulated grades like extremely fine or about uncirculated might sell for 25 cents to $1. In uncirculated condition, the value climbs. A Mint State 63 red-brown example might bring $2 to $5, while a fully red Mint State 65 coin could sell for $15 to $40. The real standouts are coins graded Mint State 67 red, which are very rare. These can sell for $500 to over $1,000, especially if the coin has great eye appeal, strong luster, and no distracting marks. Color is also a huge factor for copper coins like the wheat penny. Grading services classify them as brown, red-brown, or full red. Most older wheat pennies tone down to brown over time, which makes bright red examples highly desirable. A 1952 D wheat penny that still has full mint red color is worth far more than the same coin in brown. Collectors pay a premium for those vivid, original red surfaces that look like the coin just left the mint. But that's not the whole story. The 1952 D wheat penny is also known for some very collectible error varieties. One of the most famous is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. Back in the 1950s, mint marks were hand-punched onto dies, and sometimes the punch landed slightly off and had to be corrected. This created doubled or shadowed mint marks that are very popular with collectors today. Some 1952 D RPM varieties can be worth $10 to $100 or more, depending on clarity and grade. Other known errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, lamination flaws, and even double die obverse. Dramatic errors can easily sell for hundreds of dollars, far above the usual values for this issue. From a collector's point of view, the 1952 D wheat penny is essential for completing a Lincoln cent date and mint mark collection. It's affordable in circulated grades, making it accessible for beginners. At the same time, advanced collectors often chase superb gem red examples or rare RPM varieties. That combination of affordability and rarity potential is part of what makes the Wheat Penny series so beloved. Historically, the 1952 D Wheat Penny also captures a moment in American history. This was the post-World War II era, with the United States entering a time of economic growth and prosperity. Coins like the 1952 D circulated widely in everyday commerce, buying candy, newspapers, and groceries. For many collectors, holding a 1952 D penny is like holding a small piece of 1950s America. When it comes to investing, the 1952 D Wheat Penny offers solid opportunities. While common circulated examples are inexpensive, high-grade certified coins, especially in full red, have shown steady demand at auctions. Rare error varieties like the RPMs or major striking mistakes also draw strong collector interest. For those who specialize in Lincoln cents, the 1952 D is one of those coins that might look common at first, but becomes very exciting once you factor in condition and variety. So what should you do if you find a 1952 D Wheat Penny? First, check its condition carefully. Look at the details in Lincoln's hair and coat, and check whether the coin still has any red luster. Then, look closely at the mint mark for signs of doubling or repunching. If the coin appears uncirculated or shows an unusual variety, it might be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even a seemingly ordinary coin can surprise you if it's high grade or has a rare variety. To sum it all up, the 1952 1-cent wheat penny with the D mint mark may be common in lower grades, but it has a fascinating history, collectible error varieties, and rare high-grade examples that bring strong values. From its classic Lincoln and wheat design to its role in everyday American life in the 1950s, this little coin carries a big story. Whether you're a beginner filling coin folders or an advanced collector searching for gem reds and RPMs, the 1952 D Wheat Penny has something to offer. So the next time you see that small D beneath the 1952 date, take a closer look. You might just be holding more than a penny. You could be holding a piece of history and potentially a valuable treasure. The 1953 1-cent wheat penny with the D mint mark. If you're a coin collector, history enthusiast, or simply curious about how a small copper coin can hold both historical and monetary value, then this video is for you. The 1953 D Wheat Penny is one of the beloved pieces of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, a series that ran from 1909 until 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. This coin, minted in Denver, represents not just a form of everyday change, but a piece of mid-20th century American heritage. In the next several minutes, we'll explore its background, design details, production, rarity, varieties, errors, and current market value, so you can understand why this coin is so collectible today. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first struck in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, and it was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature the image of a real person rather than a symbolic figure. By 1953, the wheat penny had already become an American staple. The coin itself is made primarily of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that classic reddish-brown tone that collectors admire. The 1953 D version was struck at the Denver Mint, which produced a large number of these coins, over 700 million in total that year. Even though the mintage was high, condition and specific varieties play an important role in determining value today. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the iconic bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The detail in Lincoln's hair, cheek, and jawline are crucial for collectors, since higher-grade examples retain sharp definition. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust," while the word liberty appears to the left and the year 1953 sits to the right, just above the small D mint mark that indicates Denver production. The reverse features the equally iconic wheat ears design, two stylized wheat stalks curving around the sides of the coin, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above, you'll also see the motto, E Pluribus Unum. This simple yet powerful design made the wheat penny a favorite for decades, symbolizing hard work and prosperity. Now let's talk about condition and grading, which are critical in determining a coin's value. Most 1953 D wheat pennies found in circulation today will be in lower grades, showing heavy wear from decades of handling. In this condition, their value is usually just a few cents above face value, around 5 to 15 cents. However, coins in higher grades, especially those that are uncirculated, can be worth significantly more. For example, a 1953 D in mint state condition, graded MS, 65 red, can fetch anywhere from $10 to $25 or more. Ultra-high grade examples with full red luster, like MS 66 or MS 67 red, are far scarcer and can bring hundreds of dollars at auction. Collectors pay premiums for these coins because so few have survived in pristine condition without spots, discoloration, or damage. Another fascinating aspect of the 1953 D wheat penny lies in its varieties and potential mint errors. While there are no major well-known double die varieties for this year in mint, collectors always look for small die variations such as repunched mint marks, where the D appears slightly doubled from the minting process. These subtle varieties can make the coin more desirable to specialists. Beyond varieties, minting errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and broad strikes are highly collectible and can command strong premiums depending on severity and eye appeal. Some dramatic errors from 1953 D have sold for hundreds of dollars to eager collectors. Historically, the 1953 D wheat penny is also interesting because it was struck during the early years of Dwight D. Eisenhower's presidency, a time when America was experiencing post-World War II growth and change. While the coin itself was a common denomination, it circulated during a transformative period of U.S. history, from the Korean War era into the prosperity of the 1950s. For collectors today, this historical connection adds an intangible layer of value. When it comes to collecting strategy, many numismatists pursue a complete wheat penny set, which includes all years and mint marks from 1909 to 1958. The 1953 D is considered a common date, but it is essential for completing a full collection. Since it is not especially rare, it provides a great entry point for beginner collectors who want an affordable yet historic piece. Meanwhile, advanced collectors focus on finding the highest grade examples or rare era varieties. So, what is the takeaway for the 1953 D wheat penny? While the majority of these coins are worth only a few cents, condition, eye appeal, and rarity of errors can make certain examples highly valuable. A well-preserved, brilliant red specimen can be a centerpiece in a wheat penny collection. For anyone interested in coin collecting, the 1953 D represents a balance of affordability, history, and potential treasure hunting for rare errors or exceptional quality pieces. As we've seen, the 1953 1-cent wheat penny with the D mint mark is more than just a small copper coin. It carries with it a story of American design, history, and numismatic intrigue. Whether you're holding a circulated example or hunting for a high-grade gem, this coin deserves appreciation. If you enjoyed learning about the 1953 D wheat penny, be sure to keep exploring other dates in the Wheat Cent series, as each year and mint mark has its own story and potential surprises.